The hospital was only the beginning. It was the brain. But every brain needs a stomach, and every stomach needs a waste reclamation center. The dental wing, the grinder, the dental clinic didn't expand outward, it grew teeth. The entire parking garage was converted into a massive multi-layered jaw. The asphalt was replaced with a soft, pink, throbbing gum tissue, and the concrete pillars were carved into jagged ivory incisors. When the ambulances arrived, living vehicles made of stitched-together muscle and sirens that were actually the high-pitched screams of trapped children, they didn't park. They were swallowed. The dentists were not men. They were spindly, 12-fingered horrors with drills for tongues. They didn't fix cavities. They harvested calcium. They would strap a victim into a chair made of frozen tongues and slowly, over the course of weeks, pull the skeleton out through the person's mouth. The victims were kept alive by a nutrient slurry pumped directly into their tear ducts. Once the bones were gone, the soft meats were tossed into the upholstery ward to be flattened into privacy curtains. The emergency room, the fusion lab in the basement of the EA, the mother house in the hospital had birthed something new, the Surgeon General. It was a mass of red, raw muscle the size of a cathedral. It sat in a pool of antiseptic and blood, its thousands of hands constantly stitching, cutting, and grafting. The Surgeon General was obsessed with efficiency. It decided that the human form was too wasteful. 2 eyes? No. It needed 1,000 eyes to see every angle. 2 legs? No. It needed a carpet of cilia to glide over the slime-coated floors. It began the Great Merging. It took a family of 4 who had come in for coughing and sewed them together into a single rolling ball of limbs and screaming mouths. They became the janitor. They rolled through the hallways, their many tongues licking the floors clean of any spilled bile or stray fingers. The pharmacy of flesh, the medicine wasn't in pills anymore. It was in parasites. If you had a headache, the pharmacist, a creature whose rib cage was a cabinet full of jars, would place a neural slug on your temple. The slug would burrow into your skull and eat the parts of your brain that felt pain. But it didn't stop there. It would replace your thoughts with the song of the hospital. You would stand there, drooling, your eyes turning into milky white marbles, singing a low, vibrating hum that helped the walls grow faster. You weren't a person. You were a signal booster. The final expansion. The atmosphere, the chimneys of the hospital began to pump out a fine pink mist. It wasn't smoke. It was aerosolized flesh. If you breathed it in, the hospital began to grow inside you. A small porcelain hard tooth would sprout in your lung. A patch of linoleum would develop on your liver. A surgical light would begin to glow behind your rib cage. The humans outside didn't die. They converted. A man walking his dog felt his skin tighten. By the time he reached his porch, his dog had fused to his leg and his torso had squared off into a brick-like shape. He sat down on his lawn and became a mailbox. His mouth stayed open, waiting for the hospital to deliver the daily waste. The end of the world. The global ward, it is a body. The oceans have turned into a thick, protein-rich blood. The tectonic plates are shifting like giant, grinding molars. The mountains are growing hair-thick, black, wire-like strands that trap the clouds and turn them into steam for the sterilization units. There is no more outside. There is only the hallway. If you run, you are just moving to a different room. If you sleep, you are just lowering your heart rate for the procedure. And in the very center of the world, where the core used to be, the mother is finally ready to give birth to the grand architect. It's not a building, it's a universe. And it's hungry for a new galaxy to renovate.